Have you ever felt like you're waiting for a big dramatic sign from God? Something that makes it obvious he's there, but it just never comes? The truth is, God's guidance is just like a compass. It doesn't scream, it points, and most of the time it points to small everyday moments we usually overlook. So today I want to show you how learning to follow those little nudges, those quiet coordinates, can change the way you experience God in your daily life. All right, guys, welcome. Spoken Truth Revival. Let's get into the whole idea about your spiritual compass, okay? So think about a compass. Its job is to guide you, but it only works if you know how to read it and follow its directions. Our spiritual life is the same way. God has given us a kind of a spiritual compass that's meant to guide us. But most of the time, we only look for him in the big moments. So here's the truth. God is often found in the small moments, not just the big ones. Could be a quick prayer, whispered in the middle of your day. It could, that's something that's happening multiple times. It could be a short conversation with a stranger at the store that lifts your spirit. It could be a random thought to take a drive or a pause for no reason at all. These are like little tiny coordinates on a map. And if we follow them, they lead us into God's presence. So when we look at this here, right, when we read the Bible, we tend to focus and follow only on the big events. Like, let's say Noah and the flood, Moses parting the Red Sea, that's a big one, Abraham stepping out in faith. But here's the thing, what we miss is that God was always present in the quiet and in the between moments. That's real transformation, and that's where it often happens. When we align ourselves with our spiritual compass, we start to see God show up in the everyday, and those moments are special because that's when he becomes the most real in our lives. So we have I came up with two practical applications that I want you to try out today on your own, okay? You can do them wherever you want to do them, man. I suggest doing them outside. I love being outside. I'm an outside person. I don't care how hot it is. Right now we're in Florida, and Lord have mercy, it's about 100-something degrees out here. But I still do it. I still like to do it, And if you get into it, you'll see, what I mean by that. In fact, let's start off. Number one, right? Number one, this is what I want you to do. Sit in stillness for a few minutes a day. Just be still. Practice being present. Practice just being where you are at, right? And you step outside, you can sit by a window, you can sit wherever you want to sit. I have a rocking chair myself, so I sit by the rocking chair. And I just sit there and I'm in the moment, and what I'm doing is, sometimes I close my eyes. I really meditate on this point, but just closing my eyes and just listening to everything that's around me. I'm listening to birds, I'm listening to the wind, I'm listening, trying not to listen to the neighbors too much, but they're a little bit loud. But I'm just listening to everything, right? And then what I do is I pick a sound. I pick something. Like, it could be one of the cardinals that like to come to my little bird feed I got outside. And I'll listen to the cardinal, I'll listen to the bird, I'll close my eyes and I'll listen to him chirp. But there's something magical that's happening there. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm in connection with God. I feel like God is just, it's hard to explain, like his presence. I can feel his presence right there with me, right? And it's also the practice of grounding ourselves with nature. Now, I know that term right there, it's a little iffy. We hear from yoga, the whole other side of things. And let me tell you something, once you pay attention to God and you start focusing on God, he'll start taking you down different paths that may be unorthodox, but they will lead you. Remember, we're paying attention to our spiritual compass. We're trying to pay attention to the coordinates that God is sending to us to bring us into his presence more so we can experience more of him, you know? And you can take a couple minutes a day doing that, you know, and see how that really works out for you. I find it very helpful in my life. And like I said, just taking those small moments every day, nature, the sound, and it's like, this thing is that it slows your mind down enough. It slows it down enough to notice the whispers of God. Because see, that's the problem. We have so much chaos going on in our lives and so much of the havoc, and we're always in this type of like, you know, hurry, that we're really not paying attention to the little subtle signs that God gives us. So once you do that, you'll start seeing things happen. Now, when you take this step one that I just mentioned to you about the whole mindfulness stuff, right? Being still, being present, going to step two. And step two is practicing mindfulness without depression. What do I mean by that? Even if you don't have, let's put it this way, you don't have to start off with a prayer. I'm talking about basic meditation. I'm talking about basic meditation that works out very, very, very well for you guys. If you look throughout the Bible and you study the Bible, you will see a meditation is often used a lot. You know, even prayer is a form of meditating, right? For us to speak with the Father, right? We worship him, right, in spirit. So we have to connect with him in spirit. The best way that I found for me to do that, which I'm offering the advice to you guys, is these tips. And meditation has helped me. I play soothing sounds, you know, like I said, I'll put my headphones on, I'll still be outside. If I can't be outside, I'll come inside to my room. But I'll put the headphones on and I'll just sit there and I'll just, you know, let the thoughts run, let them do their course, let them do what they're gonna do. And I just sit there, you know, and just listen to God and listen as much as I can, but I'm paying attention to everything. That's the thing, guys. We gotta pay attention to every little thing inside that, because you can ask anybody who's done any type of meditation like that, you know, and how it declutters the mind. I once heard somebody say that the mind is kind of pictured like being a garage, right? And you have to, in order to fit your car inside this garage, you got to take stuff out. Maybe you got a lot of stuff in there, junk, throughout the years, wherever it is. So you got to declutter it so you can make more room for new things. Our mind is the battlefield. So when we're in this mindfulness meditation, this mindfulness practice, you'll see how everything slows down enough for you, right? Everything will slow down enough. But practicing that is a thing that, you know, it really, really works. And it's just to clear your thoughts, breathe. The breathing part works as well. But be still and let your awareness open, and you'll be surprised. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised by the clarity and the peace that shows up, right? It'll show up. And you guys, once you get into it, you'll start to see and acknowledge your whole spiritual essence, and this thing about this compass, the GPS, uncharted territories is how I like to put it, right? So the truth is, God isn't hiding. He's been guiding us all along like a compass, pointing toward his presence. But the problem is that we're usually too distracted, right, by the noise or waiting for the big dramatic moments of life to notice it. Well, you know, so here's my challenge. This is my challenge for you guys today, this week, tomorrow, wherever you want to do it, right? It's this. I want you guys, okay, to take this week, take a few minutes, just a few minutes, all you need each day, to slow down, step outside, be still, and pay attention to the small moments. A kind word, a quiet thought, an unexpected sense of peace that just overfills, covers you, right? And that's where God's hand will often show up in your lives. And on top of that, guys, with everything we talked about today, I would love to hear from you guys. Love to hear from your experience. You know, the moment where God showed up in your in a small, unexpected way. You know, share it. Share it with me in the comments. Comment below. I'm trying to build with you guys. You know, in fact, this is the thing here. Your story might be the reminder for someone else that needs to hear that today. So the more that we align with our spiritual compass, the more clearly we see, right, his hand in the chaos of life, in those moments that change everything. They change everything. God bless you guys. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Remember, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, do all that. But don't forget to share those comments, and don't forget to share those stories. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear it. I want to hear what you guys experience once you put this into the whole practice. You'll see exactly what I've been talking about. God bless.